Man, don't you just miss when game advertisements were just dumb? When I say dumb, I don't mean brain rot or anything like that. I mean half the time you had no idea what game the ad was even trying to promote. Like this ad here. You know what this is an ad for? Sonic Jam. Yeah, this picture of a random 90s guy with a ton of piercings is an ad for a collection of the classic Sonic games on the Genesis. Also, I have no idea what this means, but for whatever reason in some of Sega's marketing, they'd put hard stuff next to their logo. I could make a joke there, but this is a family-friendly channel, right, Shadow?
You're going straight to hell.
Since the very beginning of the franchise, the Sonic the Hedgehog series has had exciting, memorable, and abrasive advertising. Sega had no problem disrespecting the competition while highlighting how hip and cool and radical their games were, to the point where sometimes Sega games had some seriously questionable ads that would not fly if they came out today. Some of these I legit have to question if they're real. Today, I wanted to look at some interesting Sonic advertisements from some of the games in the 2000s. One of the most iconic ad campaigns has to be the one for Sonic Adventure 2 and its updated version, Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. Check this one out. Good Hedgehog, evil, sinister, malcontent Hedgehog. Play as Sonic and board, swing, and grind to save the world. Play as Shadow, Sonic's evil double, and conquer the world. Here's another one in a similar vein. You've got a picture of Sonic that says, "Come all ye faithful," and an image of Shadow that says, "Come to the dark side." One of Sonic Adventure 2's most notable elements was that it had two campaigns, a hero story where you play as Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, and a dark story where you play as Eggman and two new characters, Shadow the Hedgehog and Rouge the Bat. Sega really milked the whole good versus evil idea in the game's marketing, as you can see here. Sonic is in front of a beautiful orange sky with doves in the background, and he even has a halo over his head. Shadow, meanwhile, is in front of a storm cloud with lightning bolts and bats everywhere. If we look at the bottom here, we get some text that gives us a little bit more of that light versus dark motif. The mighty armies of light and dark have gathered. The future of a fragile world hangs in the balance. Will you follow the force for good by becoming Sonic the superhero in a race for worldly peace? Or perhaps you will succumb to the dark and dastardly Shadow and wreak terrible destruction upon the earth? The time has come. Choose your Hedgehog leader wisely. Time to take sides. The early 2000s was when gaming entered a really edgy phase with the emergence of games like GTA 3 and its ilk. Being bad was cool, and they highlighted that you could choose to do that in Adventure 2. But of course, this is still a Sonic game, so if you want to go the goody two-shoes route, the option is there too. Sega would reuse this exact same marketing gimmick with Shadow 05. He's a hero, but whose hero? You decide. He's a hedgehog with a history. If only he could remember it. Has he been created to save humanity or to destroy it? Only your actions can uncover the truth. Even though it's a little cheesy, I do really dig this ad. I like how the black arms and gun are on opposite sides of the poster with Shadow in the center. The fire in the background really contrasts well with the image's use of white space. This is a good ad. But I know what you're here for. You're not here for tasteful ads. You're here for this stuff. In this ad, we've got a black warrior, yes, that's what they're called, and yes, it is very funny, is standing spread out with his back to the wall of a busted up, rundown building, seemingly being pursued by Shadow, which we can tell by Shadow's shadow on the building. And of course, Shadow is carrying that thing on him. At the bottom right, we have text that says, "A new force will arise, for good or evil, you decide." So yeah, they are heavily playing up that moral dichotomy there. We've talked about Sonic Adventure 2 and Shadow 05, but let's talk about the game that came out in between those two titles, Sonic Heroes. Heroes' whole gimmick was the team mechanic where you played as three characters at the same time, and the marketing for Heroes really dialed in on that group dynamic concept. Here is a UK ad for Sonic Heroes with the three members of Team Sonic. Tails, aka the Chopper, Knuckles, aka the Enforcer, and Sonic, aka the Governor. Gotta love that UK slang. Slight tangent, but that's honestly one of my favorite things in gaming. As an English speaker, seeing how games subtly change phrases and dialogue to fit other English-speaking regions is so interesting. It's like how Minecraft has American English, Canadian English, British English, New Zealand English, and even Shakespearean English. You know, if you prefer your cooked rabbit to be called roasted hare, your waxed lightning rod to be called the rod of thunder brightened by lustrous wax, and your options menu to be the at thy choice then menu. Anyways, what was I talking about again? Oh, right, Sonic Heroes. This is probably my favorite ad for the game. It's a bunch of old dudes in cheesy superhero costumes. There's a tagline that reads, "It's time for some new heroes." If you look at the bottom here, it reads, "It's Sonic Heroes, the all-new game with an all-new way to play. A revolutionary team-based system will have you switching characters on the fly. 12 different heroes, 4 different teams, and 3 different consoles make for one new game that never gets old." Sonic has always been about new, youthful energy, so this ad makes a lot of sense in that regard. I gotta say though, I kind of feel bad for the gentleman who had to wear the costumes. How do you even get this sort of gig? Was there just an ad in the newspaper that said, "Looking for old men, preferably depressed and willing to wear a Party City costume"? Here's a UK ad for Sonic Rush. You've got this dumb kid who smashed his head through a ceiling. Warning, Sonic can now make heart-stopping jumps between both DS screens, but you can't. Yeah, you could have said that before this guy got a concussion. Check this text in the bottom left out. One screen's just not enough for Sonic as he blasts onto the Nintendo DS, in the first game to really push the DS to its extremes. Okay, I don't know about that. I mean, Super Mario 64 DS was a launch title for the DS, and that game being a full 3D platformer was pretty impressive. Anyways, Sonic rushes, races, dives, and dashes between both screens at true Sonic speed. It's like they have to remind you every 5 seconds that yes, this game does in fact use 2 screens. With all the dizzying dives and brain-twisting loops you'd expect from a Sonic game, plus a mysterious female companion and wireless play, it's a real Sonic rush to the head. I do find it a little strange that they're trying to play up the mystery of Blaze, not even using her name when she's literally right on the front of the game box. Speaking of UK ads, our last ad of the day is one for Sonic Adventure DX. Get ready for the greatest ever. Sonic, everybody's favorite superpowered speed hero, embarks on his most epic and daring adventure yet on Nintendo GameCube. Enter the awesome, frantic new world of Sonic. Travel at hyperspeed to face wild new challenges with all his friends. Don't miss the greatest Sonic game ever. I love this ad because it has this classic action movie poster feel to it. The close-up shot of Sonic, the explosion in the background, even the characters being credited at the top like actors. This ad just has that 80s/90s summer blockbuster film feeling. In fact, it almost nails that feeling a little too well. When I saw this ad, it looked really familiar, like it was based on a specific movie poster, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. That is, until I finally figured it out. This ad looks almost the exact same as a movie poster for the 1994 movie Speed. They even used a lot of the same fonts. Honestly, it's kinda genius. Making a spoof of the poster for a movie called Speed fits perfectly for a Sonic game. But honestly, the funniest part is that Speed stars Keanu Reeves. You know, the guy who voiced Shadow in the Sonic 3 movie? It's like everything's come full circle. In any case, I think that's about it for this video. If you're interested in watching more videos where I talk about stuff, here's a video you might enjoy, and here's a whole playlist of Sonic videos for you to check out if you're looking for something to marathon or to just have something to listen to as background noise. That's all I've got to talk about for today though, so thanks for watching y'all, and have a great rest of your day.